In 1912, a man wrote a correspondence course that sold for the kind of money most people spent months earning. Institutions tried to have it banned, not for religious reasons, because it told ordinary people something they were never supposed to know. That poverty is not a condition of life, it's a signal. And that signal comes from within. His name was Charles Haanel, and what he uncovered in 1912 has not become outdated, because he wasn't describing a trend, he was describing a law. And laws don't change just because 100 years have passed. But there is one thing in his work that remained in the shadows. One step, without which his entire system doesn't function. A step that most people skip. Even those who have read his book. Even those who have studied it for years. That's what this video is about. Let me ask you an honest question. Have you ever read about the law of attraction, affirmations, visualization, and understood it all? Everything seemed logical, beautiful, even obvious. And then you actually did it, and nothing changed, and you thought, maybe I'm doing something wrong. Maybe I need to believe more strongly. Maybe I need more time, and you went back to the same practice with the same result. That's not because you were doing something wrong. It's not because you didn't believe enough. It's because something was happening below the level of your willpower, at a level that affirmations simply cannot reach. Haanel knew this, and he gave it an exact name. He wrote, "There are two worlds. The outer world, circumstances, money, relationships, health, everything you can see and touch. And the inner world, what you accept as truth at a level that is deeper than thought, deeper than desire, deeper than intention." And here is what he stated with a precision that few dared to repeat. The outer world is always an exact reflection of the inner, not approximate, not partial, exact. This means that your financial reality right now is not the result of the economy, not the result of luck, not the result of your environment. It is the result of what your consciousness accepts as normal, as a given. And here is where the most important part begins. Because if this is true, if your outer reality is an exact reflection of your inner state, then this is simultaneously the most uncomfortable and the most liberating news. Uncomfortable because it removes the convenient role of being a victim of circumstances. Liberating because it means you can change this. Not someday, not when the economy shifts, not when better opportunities appear. Right now, by working with the one thing that is truly within your power, yourself. Haanel explained, you have two minds. The conscious mind, the one you use to think, plan, read, analyze. And the subconscious mind, the one that runs everything else. Everything you do automatically, everything that happens without your conscious participation. The subconscious mind does not reason, it does not evaluate whether what it believes is good or bad. It simply executes what it has accepted as true, methodically, without stopping, day after day. And the problem is not that you want too little. The problem is that your subconscious mind made a decision about money a long time ago, about how much you're entitled to, about how worthy you are, about what happens to people who want more. That decision was not made by you. It was shaped by your environment, your childhood, what you saw and heard when you were 7 years old, 10, 15, when you didn't yet know how to filter what you were absorbing. The adult you is already a different person. Your desires have changed, your goals have grown, but the program in the subconscious remained the same, and it is stronger than any desire. Imagine a person who grew up in a family where money was always a source of anxiety, where there was never enough, where the adults said, money doesn't grow on trees, wealthy people are greedy. Wanting more is not right. That person grows up, gets an education, starts working, reads books on finance, and even makes progress. But every time there's slightly more than the usual amount in the account, something happens. An unexpected expense appears, a deal falls through, a situation arises that resets everything back to zero. Again and again. This is not bad luck. This is the subconscious returning the system to a familiar level. Because a lot of money to it is a threat. That's the territory of greedy and bad people. And it is protecting you from that threat. Methodically, without any malicious intent. This is exactly why visualization doesn't work for most people. You picture wealth with your conscious mind, while your subconscious is holding the opposite belief at the same time. And in that collision, the subconscious wins every time, not because it's stronger than you, but because you were fighting it on foreign territory. Haanel called this the conflict of two signals, and he said, until the signal inside aligns with what you want outside, the outer will not move. Never, no matter how many affirmations you repeat. Now I want to add something that Haanel only touched on indirectly, something I consider the key to his entire teaching. Why can't most people change this signal, even when they know about it, even when they've been working on it for years? Because they try to change it from the same level at which it was formed, the level of the mind, the level of thought, the level of effort and discipline. But the belief that holds poverty in place, it doesn't live in the mind. It lives in the body, in sensations, in how you feel in the morning when you wake up and the first thought about money creates tension in your chest, in that tightening that appears when you open your banking app, in that heavy, tired feeling when you think about the future. This is not just an emotion, it is the frequency you're operating on. And your life is organized around that frequency, not around what you want. Science, neurobiology, and quantum physics is arriving at the same conclusion as ancient traditions, just using different language. Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about the body becoming the mind, that a chronic emotional state literally rewrites your biochemistry, that people get stuck not because they are weak, but because their body has grown accustomed to a certain cocktail of chemicals and keeps recreating situations that supply that cocktail again and again. This is not a metaphor. This is physiology. Ancient traditions, from the Hermetic philosophy encoded in Egyptian texts to the Vedic teachings of India, all say the same thing. Reality does not respond to your thoughts. It responds to your state. State is not a mood. It's not what you tell yourself. It's who you are on the inside in this moment. The sum of your deepest beliefs, expressed as a sensation in the body. Haanel wrote about the feeling of present possession, not a desire to have something someday, but the feeling that it already exists. Now, that is the crucial difference. Desire says, I don't have this, I want to get it. The state of possession says, this is already mine, I am already where I want to be. That state is what changes the signal. Not beautiful affirmation words, not visualization on its own. The state. Your wealth already exists in the plane of reality that Haanel called universal mind, in the same sense that the tree already exists in the seed, completely, perfectly, right now. The question is not how to create it, the question is how to remove everything that is blocking you from perceiving it, how to become the person who can see it. Now, specific steps, the ones Haanel gave his students, and one additional step that I'm adding myself. Step 1. Stop and become still. Haanel insisted on a daily practice of silence. Not meditation in the sense of relaxing and doing nothing, but an intentional disconnection from the external stream of information. 15 to 20 minutes every day. No phone, no music, no background noise. Why? Because the conscious mind is the surface of water. While it's in constant motion, you can't see the bottom. Silence calms the surface, and then you begin to see what is actually happening down there. Which beliefs are truly running your decisions? Step 2. Give your mind a precise image, not an abstract, I want money, or I want financial freedom. A specific, detailed image of what your life looks like when the result has already been achieved. What exactly do you see right in front of you? What's the view from the window? What sounds are around you? How does your body feel in this reality, not tense and waiting, but relaxed and at ease? Haanel wrote, the brain cannot distinguish a real experience from a vividly imagined one. Neural connections form in both cases. This is exactly why elite athletes use mental rehearsal, not as a supplement to training, but as a standalone, fully valid tool. Your subconscious sees no difference between what happened in reality and what you lived through internally with sufficient intensity. Use this. The precision of the image is critically important. This is not daydreaming. This is an architectural blueprint. Step 3. Enter the feeling and hold it. This is the most important step, and the most difficult. Once the image becomes clear, allow yourself to feel that this has already happened. Not I wish, Not someday, but this already is. The quiet gratitude of someone who already knows the outcome. A calm certainty without urgency. Hold that feeling for at least a few minutes. Don't think about how it will happen. Don't plan your steps. Simply be in the state you would be in if it had already come to pass. And here is the additional step, the one Haanel implied but never named directly. Throughout the day, notice how you feel in relation to money. Don't judge yourself for it, simply observe. Is there anxiety when you think about bills? Is there shame when you want more? Is there a quiet belief that the people around you deserve success, but you don't? These feelings are not your enemies. They are a map of what your subconscious accepts as normal. And the moment you can see the map, you are no longer following it blindly. Spiritual growth is not escaping these sensations. It is not think positive and ignore everything difficult. It is an honest encounter with what is, without judgment, and a patient, day-by-day creation of a new inner climate. You cannot change by force of will a belief that has lived in your body for years, but you can create new experiences, a new sensation, a new signal, every day. And here is what's important to understand about time. This process is not fast. No video will change your life in 20 minutes. Haanel wrote to his students, wait until the new belief has taken root so deeply that it becomes self-evident. Not a belief you repeat, but a belief you simply know. The way you know the sky is blue. That depth is what produces results, not the volume of an affirmation, not the number of repetitions, but how deeply the new perception of yourself has entered your body, your breath, the way you move through the world. This is what conscious work with money actually is. Not expense spreadsheets, not another strategy, changing who you are on the inside and allowing the outside to follow. Haanel ended his work with words I want to leave you with. He wrote, "The law cannot be broken. It can only be used or ignored. Those who built fortunes were not lucky. They were not exceptions to the rules. They were people who learned to use the law consciously, methodically, with the understanding that the outer result always follows the inner state. Your wealth is not somewhere far away in the future. It already exists in the version of you that lives in a different inner climate. The task is not to create it. The task is to become the person who can see it. And that is a question of consciousness, not effort. If this video shifted something in you, write one word in the comments, the word that best describes what you're feeling right now. One comment changes how the algorithm sees this video and helps this idea find the people who need it most. Until next time.